Finally, Boat Game is on its way back to Rise of Kingdoms. We're going to get some more iconic crystals, and this patch update also brings some crystal tech changes. So stick around in this video for everything that's in the upcoming patch. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and if you attended my live stream yesterday, then you know we found these patch notes early and covered them in stream. So if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, consider doing so now so you don't miss the latest and greatest news as soon as it lands. Let's get started. New patch landing, Chorus of Tides, on the 9th of the month. The first major inclusion is the Isle of Marvels event. Set sail under the sun by day and stars by night. There's a 7-day quest series. You hoist your mainsail, collecting points to earn rewards for you and your alliance members. Night of the Voyager is where you gather fleet supply chests as a boon for your voyagers. And Treasure Island is where you exchange for a variety of prizes, including a city theme. All that to say, probably a bunch of events in the style we've sort of seen in the past. And as soon as we know what that city theme is, I'll let you know if I think it's pretty good or not. Protect the Supplies is on its way back, and Tempest Clash, baby. Boat Game. For those of you newer to Rise of Kingdoms who are like, what the hell is Boat Game? I'll have a card up in the top for Tempest Clash and the last time it was here. Command your vessel in combat against others to become Lord of the High Seas. Now, I don't know why they will be making this event something that happens as a part of a holiday series. It feels unusual to me because normally we don't, I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll just have it show up a couple times a year, and that's what Tempest Clash will be. They're also making big changes to the Season of Conquest, and this is very important. Anytime the developers touch crystal tech, you want to pay close attention. This is the end game. We've increased the number of crystals dropped by defeating Kahar the Hidden in all Season of Conquest stories. This change will take effect immediately after the update. And they have changed the description of the Season of Conquest Crystal Technology Plunder to now increase crystals earned from battling barbarian patrols and barbarian forts. So this is something they had sent a one-off mail about, I want to say like a week ago. I made a dedicated video going in-depth about those changes. Card will be up in the top if you want to see that more in-depth video. I'll remind you a little bit later about that. So I won't rehash all of this crystal tech change stuff, but I think depending on how they move the needle here on these different technologies, it could be very good, and it could mean more crystal technology sooner. But also, you do recall that they added some crystal technology to make it more advantaged to swarm stuff. So let's keep reading here. Crystal technology first aid is removed. That's the one that heals you a little bit after you finish battling a barbarian. Karaku's gift increases the acquisition of crystals during the Trial of Khal Karak and Surprise Strike. This is the one. Increases damage dealt to enemy garrisons and rallied armies by troops on the map during the Lost Kingdom. I mean, this is just like huge advantage to swarmers for sure. The unlock order for crystal technologies has changed, so we'll see exactly how they've swapped things around, but it's probably pretty minor. Except for the first change mentioned, the above changes to crystal technologies will apply to Season of Conquest stories that were registered after midnight UTC on July 25th. Which means my restart should have access to all the new crystal technology as soon as it's landed. But this is not the only crystal technology, and I guess I should say Season of Conquest change. Heroic Anthem power-up KVK is changing as well. We've added new combat tactics systems offering a choice of 5 different tactics: melee, ranged, guerrilla, rally, and garrison. You can only choose one when you leave your city. And by the way, keep in mind, this is the format of KVK that has blockading. If you haven't seen blockading before, it is pretty hilarious. Card will be up in the top. You can go check that out. Different combat tactics give you different buffs. And we've added a new rally mode for aggressive rallies. Troops departing from aggressive rallies will automatically attack any enemy troops that blockade their march. And as the blockade mode is automatically set to aggressive by default. So I'll say that while it is nice that they're making these changes to Heroic, Power Up Anthem, KVK, my concern here is still, as we discussed on stream yesterday, the fact that basically because of the way blockading works, if your kingdom can't contest field, you just lose all your territory until you can contest field. It's very landslidey in the way that this KVK works. I don't think these changes address the landslidey nature of this KVK. And I will be eager to see when other people queue up for it. but I don't think I plan to queue up for the power-up version of KVK anytime soon. And the funny thing about that is that I actually think it really advantages a kingdom like mine in 254, because we actually can dominate fields. So, I don't know, maybe we're looking for, I don't know, maybe a lower key KVK, less resources spent field fighting, we would do that, but we like field fighting, so I don't know, man. Number 3 here, improvements to the Trial of Khal Karak. So this is also still Season of Conquest KVK. That's KVK Season 4 and beyond. We've added a limit to the maximum number of attacks possible against trial targets for each level. 1 attack is spent every time you send a new troop to attack the target. Once you use all your attacks, you can't send more troops. So basically what's happening here is these Khal Karak bosses would give you a bunch of extra rewards in the Season of Conquest KVK. And what people would do is, because it would only cost action points to summon the boss, and you could attack any number of times you wanted, people would zerg it down, and you'd have one of your marches die, it would go back to your city, you'd send a new march, and you'd zerg the thing down over the course of whatever amount of time you had to beat the boss. So I guess the developers kind of realized, wait a minute, this system isn't working really the way we intended. We want this to be a difficult fight that you actually need to be able to legitimately beat, not just by like chaining your troops out from your city over and over. So now you have a limited number of attacks after you've summoned your boss. So that is the change that they're putting in. We've replaced some of the mid-level Karaku warriors. We've added new cumulative rewards for the Trial of Khal Karak event and modified the original challenge reward for completing the trial. Apart from the current challenge reward, the event now offers crystal reward that governors can accumulate over time. The higher the challenge level conquered, the more crystals earned per hour. So it seems like you're getting an hourly crystal reward. I can't say if this is good or bad until I know more of like the levers that they're using here. Like, how much are these things changing around? Does it mean more crystals or less crystals? That's really all that matters. Does this mean the same amount of crystals but slower? That would be a bad thing. Or does it mean more crystals? I don't know, and only after it's gone live will we see. And they're changing the way that the Legendary Tavern works. When you enter into Season of Conquest KVKs, there was an event, Legendary Tavern, that would open up, and you could use your Sovereign keys to get a lot of Legendary Commander sculptures. But they're changing it. They're adding a Legendary chest to the Tavern, which can be opened once you are in the Season of Conquest. You can use your Sovereign keys. Legendary chests will be added to the Tavern after the event is over if you already have the Legendary Tavern running. And Legendary chests will be added to the Tavern from the 7th day onwards for the kingdoms entering Season of Conquest for the first time. I think this change overall might actually be a negative one for players, but I don't know, because we'll see how this translates. But the Legendary Tavern had a special currency that you would get, and you could cash in that special currency for Universal Legendary Commander sculptures. So if this change is now making it so that you can no longer get this special currency whenever you get a duplicate commander, one you already have, then this change is actually very bad, I would think, because now duplicate commanders are just wasted sculptures in this form of Tavern. We'll have to see how it works. If when you open up one of these chests and you have the commander already, does it give you the currency like we've been getting, or are you just wrecked? And that would definitely suck for your more experienced players or your players that have a deeper collection. So until I see how that works, I'm tentatively going to say I expect this actually will be bad. Hopefully it will be good. Hopefully it will just mean access all the time with all the same upside that we had from Legendary Tavern. But if that's not what it means, then this change, well, I mean, I guess you can get some commanders sooner when you're in the Season of Conquest, but that is, I don't know. I mean, not an optimization for anyone who's already in the Season of Conquest. Things get kind of interesting in the other improvements section. They're adding a way to toggle on and off the sort of highlight selected target option in your settings. The way that things are going now with like transparency, sometimes it's very confusing to figure out what you were targeting or where your marches are. I feel like it was designed to make it easier, but either I'm just not used to it yet, or it's just more difficult to play with. I don't know, but the toggle makes it so that if you like it, you can use it, and if you don't, you turn it off. They added new champion achievements involving equipment, commanders, city themes, crystals, and legendary chests. There are 12 equipment-related achievements. Complete them to receive iconic crystals as a reward. Each equipment-related achievement grants 1 iconic crystal. Wow. So 12 iconic crystals. I mean, look, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull down all 12 the second that this thing lands, but I might be able to jam out another iconic set, depending on what these achievements are. And let me tell you, If these achievements related to equipment are not rewarded for things you've already done, bro, I'm actually going to lose my mind if they don't give you credit for things you've already done. And they're like, oh, we know that you already have a set of crit legendaries, but you need to go crit another one. I'm just going to lose my mind. That will make no sense. So I don't think they're going to do that because I think that would be too insane. But I think that it is interesting that developers are really accelerating the rate with which you can get iconic crystals. I had thought that that was a system they really wanted to run for like a long time to make it just an extremely long cycle to get a lot of these. And so the fact that you can jam out 12 more is actually very significant. They took like a year off the grind or more for getting all the iconic crystals to even just do 5 marches. So it is pretty wild. We've improved the verification code system so governors with good conduct scores can minimize the number of verification codes needed. This might be the single best thing in this update. I'm not even kidding you. The number of times you have to verify, it's certainly frustrating. And so players that have been, have a good conduct. What does that mean? Probably that you actually complete your daily quests, that you look like a real player and not a bot, that you look like a real player and not a resource seller. Those are the sorts of things that probably give you a good conduct score. Also, I think, maybe if you get reported some number of times, maybe that hurts your conduct score. I actually have no clue. But however that works, less verifications seems really good. We've decided to limit governors' access to each other's details, as it has come to our attention that certain governors' information is at risk of being used for unapproved purposes, which could negatively impact the gaming experience. I wonder if that means they're hiding governor IDs. That's what we were hypothesizing on stream yesterday. That would make it, I don't know what people are doing with governor IDs, but hiding governor information is going to make it easier to go rogue. And that's in part because you'll have to look at other identifying statistics for a player to figure out who they are after they've changed their name. We've added a new list mode for the daily special offer. You can select which commander you want. We've optimized the quality of some avatar frames. Cool. And Osiris League Season 6 is on its way. There you go. If you're interested in giving feedback about this update, actually clicking this link is the best place to do it. That's where the developers actually look. Big surprise. They asked for feedback. There's where they're asking you to send it. That's where they look for your thoughts. So if you have thoughts about what's in here, that would be the place to go put it. I am definitely concerned about the change to the Legendary Tavern. That could mean less Universal Legendary Commander sculptures going around. But until we actually see how the new Legendary chest works, I guess I can't, say that conclusively. I am cautiously optimistic for some of the Crystal Tech changes, and I actually am kind of hyped to see Boat Game again, so there is that. And then less verifications. Oh, and all those iconic crystals. If you want to see exactly what all of that looks like, before the patch has even gone live, often I'll have a video covering that from official sources, so consider subscribing to the channel. And I'll remind you, there are a couple videos you might want to check out. If you've never played Boat Game before, or you want to see some hilarious moments from the last time the event was here, card will be over here. And if you want to see the in-depth coverage I gave around these Crystal Tech changes, card will be right there in just a second. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Throw a like on here. And until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.